Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all of my baggage droppers around the world, welcome to another episode of the Drop Your Baggage podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. I am your host, the self-talk engineer, Charles Woolfork. And if you like this episode, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button if you are on YouTube, Facebook, or a podcast platform. And if you're on a podcast platform, especially, give a brother 5 stars and some feedback as well. Today, it's so exciting. I can't put into words how exciting this moment is to be on the Drop Your Baggage podcast with such a talented queen. And this is just a blurb of her resume. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Monica Soyemi. Now, Monica is born and raised and still lives in New York City. But, you know, she has a bit of seasoning in that special sauce of hers. Her dad is from Nigeria and her mother is from the Caribbean. She is a registered and licensed realtor in the Big Apple and also owns property there as well. She is a YouTuber with over 16,000 subscribers and does freelance work as a video editor and photographer. And she's also a beautiful singer that actually sings opera and an incredible performer. Most of all, she's just a highly motivated and goal-oriented queen. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Monica Soyemi. What's up, Monica?
Hey, Charles, how's it going?
Oh my gosh, I feel so blessed to have you on the podcast today. Thank you so much for just taking time out and just showing up for your divine appointment.
Thank you, Charles. I appreciate you even inviting me on to the Drop Your Baggage podcast. Hello, everybody. Glad to be here.
Let's get okay. So your story, just you and your grind, your relentless hustle is phenomenal. But just you as an individual, you are such a light, you know what I mean, upon this whole universe. So please tell us your story, and I'm just gonna let you go off at it and tell everybody how amazing you are.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, so my name is Monica. I'm here in the Big Apple. I am a realtor here, as well as a real estate investor, a YouTuber. We have garnered over 1 million views on YouTube, and I have just been sharing information on stimulus content, real estate investing content, investing in general, because it is really my mission and purpose to really educate our community on opportunities for growing your wealth, educating yourself. It all started with this program I was a part of called Worlds of Money. And I'm so grateful to Mom for putting me in that program when I was like 9 or 10 years old. And in that program, you know, you learned about stocks and bonds and mutual funds and IRAs and 401ks. And I'm just like, what is going on here? But it really planted a seed of the importance of financial education in our communities and just understanding things like that. But then to add another tier to that, I learned about real estate investing. So for about 15 years now, I have been traveling the world as an opera singer, traveled to almost 30 countries so far. I'm trying to hit 30 countries before 30. But a lot of these countries I've traveled to just to perform. And what was so awesome about that was getting to connect with people from different backgrounds, different races, different cultures. And what brought us all together was music and the power of music. They call music this universal language. So it's been a beautiful opportunity to be able to just travel to so many countries, experience the world, and share my gift. But as I got in my, later 20s, I realized that I would come back from these awesome experiences touring and, even performing here in New York in places like Lincoln Center and Carnegie Hall. And I would come back and I would make money, but then I wouldn't have any type of residual income. The performance ended and so did the income. So that's when I started learning about ways to create additional streams of income. And that was in 2019 when I bought my first investment property. And this is something I really advocate for people to just explore opportunities to grow your wealth, exploring opportunities to create residual income, because it really connects back to, that financial independence that we all want. We all want to spend time with loved ones. We want to read, we want to travel, we want to do the things we're passionate about and do what our purpose is on this earth. And in order to do that, we need time. And if all of our time is devoted to our job, then we don't really have time to pursue what our higher calling is. And I believe my higher calling is music around the world, it's philanthropy, it's reading, it's learning. And so that's what put me on the pursuit of financial independence. And so here we are. I'm 29 now. I have my first investment property, working on my second, working on getting 5 more properties this year and another 5 next year. And before 32, we are trying to hit that millionaire mark so we can do the great things we want to do, which is giving back to our community, particularly because my dad is from Nigeria. I want to give back to Nigeria in a humongous way, giving back to little Black girls around the world, letting them know that you can do it too, getting people excited about music, And this couldn't be possible without financial independence, without the need for a job. So I'm excited, still getting calls even while we're on this podcast here, people looking to buy property around New York and contractors and things like that. But it's the relentless pursuit of greatness and financial independence.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Let's get it. So how did you start your career as a singer?
So I actually started as a singer when I was about 8 or 9 years old. And everyone has a church story. And yes, I did start in church. But I actually joined this organization called the Young People's Chorus of New York City. So when I was 8 or 9 years old, my mom put me in this chorus, and they taught you how to read music, and they taught you how to sing with an ensemble. What was really special about that group, the group was singers and children from all over New York City. So you had Chinese kids, Black kids, white kids, Italian. And what that really taught me at a young age is the power and the unifier of music. And years later, I went to school for music, studied voice at the Conservatory of Music, Brooklyn College, and then studied finance in school, and had the opportunity to travel to countries pursuing music and a professional career. I remember being like 10 or 11 years old singing and being like, you know what, when I grow up, I want to be an international opera singer. That's my goal and my dream. And now here at 29, I look back at it and I'm like, Monica, you accomplished that goal. Almost 30 countries, singing classical music around the world. And your little 10-year-old self will be so happy and proud of you now. Mm. And I think along with this, we're moving into a new chapter where we've accomplished this one goal and we're still pursuing it, but we're moving into this next chapter of real estate and all of that can provide. And along with building generational wealth, so often in our communities, specifically Black people, our wealth rate compared to our counterparts, white or Asian Americans, is severely lacking. It's insane. And the number one wealth builder in our country is real estate. That's how so many white people have and Asian people have been able to grow their wealth. They purchased homes for $10,000 a million years ago. Now that same house is worth $1 million. And redlining, Black people weren't able to buy homes because of certain neighborhoods and areas. And now that we can take back the power and really take charge of our own financial destinies, I think it's important that we get as educated as possible as we can about it. I always tell my buyers, you need 3 things. You need income, you need good credit, and you need that down payment. And I'm here to help you pursue that because it's important.
Amen. Amen. What did you learn most from the different places that you traveled to in the world?
I think the biggest takeaway I learned from traveling to so many countries is how alike we are. But don't even realize, I grew up Christian my whole life, I'm blessed and I'm grateful. But going to countries like China and Japan where they, practice Buddhism or different cultures. And I had an experience where I went into a Buddhist temple in Japan and just sat and just meditated with the Buddhists. And, I left there feeling a lot more at peace. I felt connected to my breath. I felt all of these things. And you realize that at the end of the day, every book you read, whether it's the Bible or the Quran or whatever you believe in, it's all about being good to your fellow man and showing love and being supportive. And I think that's a human need definitely now in the world. So yeah, that's what I took away.
That's awesome. That's definitely awesome. What are some of the important things you learned while acquiring your first property?
Ooh, this is a big one. First property, I had to deal with a bad tenant on my first go round. And see, one thing I want to educate others on is when you purchase a property, I think it's best to purchase it vacant and putting your own tenants in, screening your tenants. And there's a lot of easy ways. I actually share it on my YouTube channel. Quick little plug, Monica Soyemi. I do share how to screen your tenants, how to kind of get that information so that you can protect yourself. I had a tenant who kind of trashed the place. She left. And lesson learned is screen your tenants first if you want to look into, real estate investing. And so, yeah, biggest lesson, screen your tenants. Another lesson is make sure you look at that inspection report. The inspector is going to look at the top to the bottom of the house. And as a newer investor, I'm like, oh, the house looks great. The inspection looks great. Little did I know I wasn't really reading through it as thoroughly. So you want to, the water heater, you want to make sure that's in good condition. And if anything's not right, you ask for a seller's concession or a cheaper price. But once again, I share a lot more on real estate and the world of real estate on my YouTube channel. Yes, quick little plug.
How did you build your community on your YouTube channel?
It's interesting. I had about 800 subscribers like a year and a half ago, but the pandemic really, really catapulted my subscriber base. And it's because I chose a niche that I feel like people really needed information on and just focused on that and did it every single day. My living room was a studio, and I would every day wake up, research whatever is new on stimulus and on the PPP and the EIDL and all these things. And I would hop in front of this camera. Usually some of my subscribers would probably recognize this background. This is where I record most of my YouTube videos. And I would share the news, let people know, when is the next stimulus check coming? How can you position yourself for the PPP and the EIDL? And what is Congress doing today? And so just the consistency and the value that that brought to my base, it went from 800 quickly to almost 17,000 subscribers, over 1 million views, because I found an area that people really wanted information in. And now we're growing that into real estate and financial wellness and wealth in general. So sharing content on that, because I think it's an important lack area that we need a little bit more help in.
Yo, so like, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I got a lot of family and friends there right now. And somebody that just doesn't have that consciousness of building wealth, that has never thought about like anything as far as a 401k, IRA, or just real estate in general, or investing in general. What would you suggest? Just something very simple that they can do right here, right now, to help them start building wealth and getting them into that mindset.
Something that you can do that's really easy is invest as little as $10, $5 in what's called a REIT. And that is a real estate investment trust. And that is something that you can do on Robinhood. Opportunities like that are on platforms like Vanguard. And all you need to do is log on, create an account, and you can start investing in different REITs. And I actually do have a video that I want to put out so that people can get started with as little as $10, $20, open up a free account and begin investing and begin allowing your money to make you money. If you want it to be real estate, I always recommend people invest in VOO, which is the S&P 500. The top 500 companies in the United States are not going anywhere anytime soon. So I would park my money there if I wasn't sure where else to go. And even if it was $5, Robinhood allows you to invest fractional shares and things like that. But I think the biggest thing I would say is, if you're listening right now and you have no investments at all, go onto Robinhood, put $10 into that account, put it into VOO, and then just go from there. That's a very easy start.
Super easy, super simple. I watch and pay attention to and apply the knowledge from Earn Your Leisure and the boys over at Market Monday. Ian Dunlap. Shout out to Ian Dunlap, Rashad, Troy, all you guys. And they are very bullish on VOO. So yes, absolutely.
And disclaimer, this is not financial advice.
No.
Okay.
No,
this is for entertainment purposes only. Next thing you know, I'm getting a lawsuit like Monica told me.
No, that's right.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
100% entertainment only. And do your research. Do your own research.
Yes, do your research.
Yes, indeed. Okay. How do you want to specifically give back to communities?
I think a specific way I really want to give back is supporting missions that support our young Black youth specifically. World of Money is a really great organization, like I said, that really focuses on Black and Hispanic youth, teaching them about money, teaching them about the world of money that we live in. Another program I was a part of was the NAACP. It is called the NAACP AXO program. And it is a program for youth in high school to compete across the country for prizes in, competitions like math and science and music and things like that. So I want to support those missions. I want to be that philanthropist that has millions of dollars and is able to park 100,000 into education for young Black youth with money and education for them in the arts, and to create that type of impact.
What was it that gave you that passion, that drive to want to give back?
I think the biggest thing is, even the apartment that I live in today, I've lived here for my whole life, over 20 years, and my mom has been a renter her whole life. And I feel like if I had the knowledge of building wealth, which she helps me with by putting me in different programs, but it really taught me that, this education isn't really always accessible to everyone. And so as I mature, I really want to give back and allow the little girl who was in my position to be able to say, hey, I have the opportunity to invest. I can travel the world and be an opera singer, and I don't have to look like, the other kids who are doing this, or I can, start with $10 in high school and start investing and creating a life for myself, because I feel like we're so often pushed towards the rat race where, you go to school, you get the job, you get the family, and you get to 65 and they're like, okay, you can go and enjoy. And at that point, your bones are creaking, your hip isn't doing too well, and you have the freedom then. But I think it's in the world we live in, it's 2022, there's so much opportunity out here, and it starts with investing. And I think pouring more into that is important to me, letting people know their opportunities they have.
Wow. Honestly, you're carrying on your mother's legacy as well. You see that? Because like she instilled financial education into you, and now you're doing it for the next generation as well.
So important. How does
that feel for your mom's legacy to be living on through you like that?
Mama's over there cheesing away, so she feels good about it. She's proud. She's excited that she gets to make this impact. She helped me, with education and getting things settled for my first property, and she's always kind of there. So it's going to be in honor of her, in honor of my father, who was an immigrant coming to America, and so many immigrant stories start with coming here for a better life. So creating that legacy, even my LLC has my dad's last name, so going from an immigrant to a business owner last name, and creating that wealth and educating generations is really, really important.
Fascinating, fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, this is because, like you said, your parents are immigrated over to here, and for them to be making such a big impact through you is so cool, It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. What gives you your relentless grind?
I think the relentless grind comes from seeing and knowing what things could be and choosing otherwise. Growing up in the Bronx, obviously it's not the best neighborhood. I always felt safe. I always felt okay, but realizing that so often, Black and brown communities don't always have the access that is needed to live their best life. Even if you look at things like the supermarkets available in our neighborhoods, or how you can always find a liquor store and a pharmacy, but can you always find a fruit stand? So seeing that in my community and knowing that I have the option and the power to choose differently has really given me this relentless grind. It's because to me, the two choices are win or win, really, because we already saw what it could be, and that's not the option.
Yeah. So there is no other option for you except to win.
Yeah, I truly believe that there's no other option, because we've seen what it could be, and I know that's not really where we want to be.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is that something that where it takes a certain amount of discomfort in someone to have that type of relentless grind, or is it like, it's kind of like a fear too? It's like a fear of like, I will never ever be in that situation. Either I won't ever be in that situation again, or I'll never even touch that situation because it looks so tumultuous.
Yeah. I've seen the situations firsthand, knowing people who have the situations. After having a little taste of it, you're just like, yeah, I think I'm good. I know that that's not the life that we want. And that is what wakes me up every morning, saying that my children and my children's children and generations will have a better life because of what I did. And not only for me and my family, but for others. Amen. I think that's important.
Amen. Now, you've had different opportunities as a singer, but it kind of goes in this realm of entrepreneurship as well. I mean, you're an entrepreneur in so many different ways, but singing is one of the main ones that you also probably. So this one principle of getting yourself out there, because I see you also did a voiceover for Nickelodeon, and that you've had all these different like accolades on your resume that's on your website, and you're also a real estate agent. So like, what are the main things that have contributed towards your success as an entrepreneur and as a singer?
Yeah, I think it's not being afraid of the work. I think a lot of the times, whether it's working out every day, or whether it's choosing to make the call, or choosing to open the script and study, a lot of the times we can be afraid of the work. Like, oh, this isn't comfortable. I'm not enjoying this. But I think that what separates those who succeed from those who don't is saying, I'm scared, I'm going to do it anyway, but also saying that this is hard and I'm still going to do it. So those two things I think are really what can really catapults us, but what really separates the two. And I think we all have the power to choose. We all have the power to be the one that says, this is hard, but we're going to do this anyway. I'm uncomfortable, I'm scared, but here we go.
Yeah.
You know, I did one of those this month where I put quite a lot of money into a real estate rehab project that I'm taking on now, and it's going to have a great return on investment. But, you know, just seeing that amount of money leave your account is very, very scary, because, you know, it can go left or right, but you gotta take what I call massive action. And that's really what it's about, taking that massive action.
Big time. That's one of the main principles. In fact, there's 4 major requisites of change. One of them is either dealing with or releasing the negative emotion. The next is having a plan and setting goals. And then the third step is taking massive action, taking action and actually achieving those goals, or at least like working towards those goals, so you can have some progress. Then you can see where you are in that whole process. You can evaluate where you are in that whole process. So you taking, and I love that mindset, that you acknowledge that this is going to be hard. This is not going to be something that you're going to necessarily enjoy, but you're going to do it anyway. A lot of folks don't have that type of mindset, to where they acknowledge, hey, this is not something that's going to make me feel good. This is not something that's going to be comfortable. However, I'm going to go through this so I'm not back into that situation. So it's kind of like 2 elements put together. The one element is you recognizing the discomfort that you don't want to feel. And the other element is knowing that what you are going to go through in order to be comfortable, you know, in order for you to keep away from that first element is not going to be comfortable, and you're still going to do it, so you don't have to feel that other way.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a formula.
Yeah, it is. And it's a practice as well. It's an everyday choice. You know, not only is it that, hey, this is hard and I need to choose to take it on anyway, but it's like, yeah, I have to do that today and tomorrow and a week from now and a week after that. And it's a daily practice, you know, just like, you know, meditation or anything or yoga that someone would do. You know, you have to make that choice every day. And also having an accountability group is really important. Like, I just had a girls' night with some friends, and our new thing is, you know, every day we check in to make sure that we've each done our habits. Yeah. So my habits, I'm trying to have meditation every day, you know, affirmations, visualizing what we want, reading, exercising, all these things. And sometimes if you know you got to do it, but no one else knows you got to do it, then it's like, all right, well, I kind of did it. It's okay. You know, no one really knows. But when you have that accountability, that's like, hey, did you do it? You know, it holds you to that greater standard. So, you know, creating community is so important. So that's why the Drop Your Baggage podcast is such a great value to the community, because, you know, having those people to connect with is important.
Amen. Yeah. I love it. Last thing. How did you create your community of the people that hold you accountable?
Well, these were actually friends that I went to, was in the course with. So we sang together for most of our lives, and now here we are. But, you know, the morning meetup is, I think, how we met. And that's a community of 600 people around the country who are all pursuing greatness. All you got to do is find 2 or 3 people. And there's just so many Facebook groups. There's so many YouTube communities. There's so many places that you can find your accountability partners and your people who are going to be with you on this journey. You know, it's a great thing.
Amen. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
For all those amazing gems. And now I get an opportunity to serve, because here on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. Now, what that technique is the mental and emotional release process. And it's a neuro linguistic programming technique, simple, systematic guided meditation. And there's only 3 things that you need to do. Number 1, use your imagination. Number 2, you need to trust the process. And number 3, you need to follow directions, just like you follow a good recipe or Google Maps.
Okay. I think I can do that.
Awesome.
I think we can do that.
And also, I want to let you know that I am not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist or a social worker or a counselor. I'm none of those things. I am a alternative to those wonderful professions that helps you in a different way, if you will.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
today we are going to be releasing the limiting belief that I'm not good enough. And
Mhm.
I couldn't imagine a false belief like that being within you, but you said that's something that you have within yourself at times. Just go ahead and tell us about it.
Yeah, when I was younger, there were certain moments, and my mom always shared with me that you can do anything, and she really did instill that in me. But sometimes, there are moments that when I was younger, high school, middle school, where I didn't feel pretty enough or good enough to date certain guys. And I think that's what sometimes when you don't realize your worth, you accept less than what you deserve. And I think it also came from colorism as well, being like a darker skinned woman,
Mhm.
feeling like, oh, I don't have these Eurocentric features or this Eurocentric definition of beauty. I remember this time where there would be guys that I would like in school, and I would just be like, yeah, I'm one of the boys. It's okay. You don't have to look at me as like the pretty girl or whatever. I'm just one of the boys. And I would do that to deflect from the fact that I really did want them to like me, but I just didn't feel like I was their version of beautiful, or that I was enough what I had to offer. So, it's a really powerful thing, the thoughts that we have about ourselves and how it can limit you. And so right now, I think sometimes that little girl peeks in and she's like, yeah, what are you doing? And sometimes you got to check that belief, but it's something that we're working on.
When are you triggered for when that little girl pops out? When is that little girl triggered to come out?
I think a trigger it can be random. Even just the other day with my boyfriend, I was talking to him and his friends, and we were just all, chatting away. And I just felt the need to be like, yeah, I'm one of the boys. It's okay. Like, I'm not, and I was just like, why are you, he's clearly with you. So you don't have to feel like they don't want you. But sometimes just, maybe like when I'm interacting with a guy, it's like, oh, he definitely doesn't want you because he doesn't think that you're X, Y, and Z. And I realize that when I think about it now, I'm like, those beliefs are silly, but I do acknowledge it's part of it is probably that little girl that's still having those beliefs about herself.
Does it ever show up in your business at all?
I don't think so. Not as much. I think it's probably more personal.
Yeah.
But in terms of my business, that's a good question. I need to explore that more because it could be subconsciously, but I don't know.
Interesting. Good stuff, because I mean there's a devil at every level. That's my homie. The homie Emilio says, shout out to Emilio. He says, like, at every different part of your life and your whole wheelhouse, whether it be spiritually, career-wise, relationships, or health, or whatever it may be, that there's a limiting belief or a negative emotion that may be holding you back from your full potential. You know what I mean? So that's why I asked, because with the limiting belief that I'm not good enough, it's like I'm an expert on it because I've been working on it for years within myself. I've never met my father before, so it was I always blamed that on myself as a kid of, I'm not good enough, or he would do this, that, and the other, birthday cards, Christmas presents, and all that. So I definitely got rid of that in a lot of different ways. I'm talking about, with my romantic relationships, with my business, with spirituality, and my relationship with the creator. Like it was definitely a journey. So I asked that question to see if did see that coming up in your business, but also I asked that question because I know how it feels sometimes. Anyway.
Yeah. But look at you now.
Oh yeah. I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping at all.
Yeah. It's powerful to see the journey. It's amazing.
Yeah, real talk. So, all right, let's go ahead and get rid of this. Oh, also, I wanted to go ahead and have you get a connection with the heart and the mind, or the body and the mind. So, when you think about this limiting belief that I'm not good enough, what part of your body do you feel it?
Probably most up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's heady. I don't think it's like a heart thing.
Yeah. Any other place besides your head?
Probably a little bit of neck.
The throat chakra. On an intensity scale from 1 to 10, how intense is it?
I would say like a 5 or 6.
All right. Make sure you pay attention to that as we go along this process. So with your timeline, your past can be to your left, to your right, or behind you. Where's your past?
Behind me.
Where's your future?
Ahead.
Perfect. All right. One more thing. Is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release this limiting belief that I'm not good enough today, and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yes.
What is the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected, that will cause this problem to disappear. If you were to know, when was the first time that you felt like I'm not good enough, between the ages of like birth and 7? How old were you?
Maybe 7.
7. Do you have a specific event in mind?
Probably something like, I would say probably like the playground and, going up to certain kids and or whoever and feeling rejected.
Yeah. So like you remember the playground and everything and just feeling bad. Perfect. That was the one then. Okay, that's a really good one. Now you can go ahead and close your eyes, relax, and let me know when you're ready for the process to drop your back.
Ready.
Okay, now let's go ahead and have you following directions and using your imagination. So just imagine floating outside of your body as if though you were a spirit or energy, and just imagine floating above yourself right here, right now. In this very moment, imagine the plant behind you, the pictures around you, the screen in front of you, your mom, yourself with your long hair. Let me know when you can see yourself from a third person point of view, like a fly on the wall.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float behind you into the past and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past above that first event in which you felt as though I'm not good enough when you were just a little kid. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
All right. Now just imagine seeing her from a third person point of view, like a fly on the wall. Just float right there and just ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from the event, the learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotions easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve the learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Just tell your unconscious mind to preserve the learnings. This is an exercise of forgiveness and acceptance. Forgiveness for yourself and others, and acceptance of yourself and others. Who do you have to forgive? What do you have to accept? Who do you have to accept? Make sure that you communicate with yourself and those other kids and everyone else involved in the event, and have compassion and empathy for them. See from their perspective and focus your attention upon how you're a survivor. Hurt people. We're all doing the best that we can with the resources and consciousness that we have. We can't control anyone else's actions, but we can control our response. We can grow stronger and wiser and learn from other people's actions and mistakes. Other people's actions have nothing to do with you. It's only a reflection of their baggage and whatever they're going through at the time. And we're better people than we were when those events occurred. You're a better person than you were when those events occurred. What is something positive and empowering you can tell that little girl and those other kids and everyone else involved in the event with the consciousness that you have today that will allow the emotions to evaporate like water on the concrete on a hot summer day? And as you preserve these learnings, the emotions are starting to dissipate more and more until they're all gone. Just let me know when they're all gone. That's right. Take your time. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're gone.
Awesome. Now, with you floating above the event and your eyes closed, tell me, what did you learn from the event?
I think I learned that other people's behavior doesn't have anything to do with you necessarily. It's usually their own things they're dealing with.
That's right. What did you have to tell that little girl?
I told her to keep it moving and to forgive him.
That's right. And with the knowledge that you have now, with you observing the event, tell me, what can you take from this event into the future to make you a better person?
I think 29-year-old Monica is going to have more grace for people who aren't always as nice because they're fighting battles you have no idea about.
Fantastic. That's right. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float behind you into the past and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past above the dinosaurs during the prehistoric age. Let me know when you're above the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, as you're above the dinosaurs, just imagine floating deeper and deeper and deeper into space to where space and the atmosphere connects. And imagine your timeline is the size of a fingernail. Let me know when you're there.
Yeah.
All right. Now, just imagine floating there in space, weightless, and ask yourself now, where are the emotions? Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared? Now.
They're disappeared.
Awesome. Now, just imagine floating down inside the event. Sink your own eyes as a little girl and check on the emotions. Tell me, are they there or have they disappeared? Now.
Disappeared.
Awesome. Float back above the dinosaurs and then float into space to where space and the atmosphere connects. Let me know when you're there.
Yeah.
All right. Listen closely. Float very, very high above your timeline, above each and every event in which you felt as though I'm not good enough. From birth until now in chronological order. Don't skip one event that has a charge on it. Preserve the learnings and let go of that limiting belief that I'm not good enough all the way back to now. And don't come back to now until that limiting belief is all gone. Go. Welcome back.
Thank you. Wow, that was the first. I can say I have not flown with the dinosaurs in space mentally yet, but we are. That was awesome.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, how you feel?
I feel a little, not necessarily sad, but I feel for, that girl all those years who, was feeling those feelings. Mm-hmm. But when you really do take a step back and come from a place of empathy, you can really understand that, little 12-year-old boys talking about, I don't like you. It's usually their own, they're not there yet. They're growing, they're figuring it out like we all are. So it's not you, it's our journeys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But not just that, but like what other events in the past did you learn from or that you would like to elaborate on, or if you want to, or just lessons, not necessarily events,
Yeah.
but lessons, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson of through it all is empathy.
Mm,
Empathy is, I think, is the number one word I think that keeps popping out, but also too grace.
mhm. It's hard to have empathy though when your baggage is in your face though, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah, yeah.
True.
Very good. So let's go ahead and test this out. Do you smell chicken?
No.
Okay. I asked that question to get your mind off the meditation.
Oh, I'm like, should I be?
All right. Can you remember a time in the past in which you used to feel that old emotion? And go back and notice if you can feel it, or you may find that you cannot.
Yeah, I think the emotion is gone.
Awesome. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to imagine going out into the future, to an
Mm-hmm.
unspecified time in the future, in which, if the same thing would have happened in the past, you would have felt as though I am not good enough. But it's the future now. So see if you can feel that old emotion, or you may find that you cannot.
Yeah, I think that belief is gone.
Congratulations. You just released that limiting belief.
Okay, so all I gotta do is fly to the front into the space to live with. All the other beliefs, they're gone. Now I got it. That's awesome. No, that's wow. Who
Yeah.
knew you can be carrying things for a while?
Yo, and I think the most important part, like you said, going throughout your timeline is very important because
Mm-hmm.
you want to make sure that you release the emotions from all those different events. I said, like I said, those are different triggers. But
Yep.
also, what's very important is making sure that you find the root cause, because just like in a garden, when you have weeds, you have to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that you pull the weed out from the root, because if you don't, it's going to keep coming back.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah.
Yeah, we plan up all the roots 2022. Okay.
That's right. I know that's right. What a great start to the
True.
year, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yo, just think. So, okay, you went over that event that happened and when you were 12, but how do you feel about yourself later on in like high school where you would kind of have this tomboy attitude or personality? How do you feel about that now?
Yeah, I definitely feel freed from those beliefs because, I could see that Monica and like what she used to say or wear or how she used to behave in order to, I guess be less seen,
Mm,
and because you do want to kind of, hide away when you don't want to be found out. And I was like, yeah, if you just look at me as one of the guys, it's fine. We're all good. No threats here. But yeah, so I feel like I have more empathy and grace for that girl.
yeah.
She was, because I was kind of hard on her, like, oh my goodness, why did you not know that? And we don't know what we don't know until we know.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Hey, man, it's all about consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
When that little girl tries to come out again, what can you say to her to help her, like, go ahead and what can you say to console her in the future?
Mm. I can let her know that it's okay. You don't need to feel this way, and that try a little understanding and to see it from their perspective.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just also realizing that it's not about you right now. It's not always about you, sweetheart. Okay.
That's a common phrase, though, right? It's not
Mhm.
always about you.
Yeah.
Yet we take things so personally.
Hmm.
Because we don't know the words and the attitude and the things that are being portrayed towards us makes it
Hmm.
seem as though it's about us, when
Hmm.
honestly you don't know what type of mentality or what type of trauma is coming out in the other person as well.
Exactly. People are dealing with their own things.
Yeah.
I'm sure even for your experience, like, maybe sometimes you would feel certain things and people could take it personally, like, oh, maybe he doesn't like me or maybe he feels a way about me, when you were on your own journey of health, self-healing and discovery, and it had nothing to do with you, sweetheart. That's the name of this episode. It's not about you, sweetie.
I like that. I like that a lot. Quite honestly. How's that feeling in your head and throat?
I think there's been a release for sure. I think the head chakra and the throat chakra, where, maybe you were scared to say certain things, or, just getting a headache because you're too in your head about certain things. But I think it's a freeness now because we have that new, the new saying, because what it's
not about you.
yep.
It's not about you, sweetie, as you said last time.
Yes, you gotta have a sweetie.
So where do you see you as a spirit and as a girlfriend and as just a person going through life without this limiting belief? How do you see yourself now?
I think this new space will allow for grace, not only for myself, but also for others, a little bit more grace, you know, just in terms of understanding. And that comes in terms of relationships, you know, romantic and otherwise, you know, just understanding that, you know, you give people grace on their journeys and you give yourself grace on your own. So I would say that's something that we're growing after releasing this belief.
Yeah.
That we can grow a little bit stronger. Yeah, because sometimes, you know, I will take things personally, whether it's in a friendship or, you know, a relationship. Like I remember just the other day, you know, my boyfriend was like, you know, it's not really that. And I realized I was taking it like personally, but sometimes people are just, you know, they're doing their own thing and it's not about you, sweetie, all the time. I'm like, what do you mean?
I know, right? I know. I used to take my girlfriend's happiness. So I used to take it as a personal responsibility. And I'm like, yo, I can't do anything but contribute to her happiness.
Yep.
I can't make her happy. That's not my job necessarily, but how I can contribute to it is the only way that I can. And I also have to make sure that I am happy, whole, and complete as well.
Yep.
That's so important because if I'm not on that level, and I can't contribute to her happiness either. You can only love someone else as much as you love yourself.
Bars.
I can't take credit for that. That was thousands of years ago. I can't take that.
Wait, I feel like I need to write that down. You can only love someone else as much as you love yourself. That's real.
But that's the second commandment, isn't it? Love thy neighbor like you love thyself.
Yes. That's
you know? I really appreciate you again and your time again, Monica, for coming onto the show. You have brought so much consciousness to me, and I know that you're going to bring a lot of consciousness as well to the audience as well. So just thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. I'm glad you reached out. You know, at first I got the DM. I'm like, who is Charles Woolfork? But I'm glad we were able to do this and connect. And, you know, any way that I can be of help. This is awesome. And aloha. I hope you're enjoying the weather over there because it is freezing here in New York.
Yo, it was. I'm gonna say it. It was a brisk 68 degrees. I had to put on my hoodie.
Oh my gosh! You know what? Is that my connection is going out?
I'm not. It's just once you get climatized here, you know, once you get used to the climate, 68 feels like burr. I'm like, gosh,
hard.
Anyway,
I'm so sorry for you. I'm sorry that you're having to go through that. Hawaiian
problems. I know.
Truly. Try 10 degrees. Okay.
No.
He's like, I'm good. That's why I'm here.
Hey, once again, thank you so much for showing up for your divine appointment. And please give us just one more word of wisdom that you got.
I think a bar that Charles just dropped is you can only love someone as much as you love yourself. I think another bar to take with you is empathy, compassion, and it's not about you, sweetie, all the time. And, you know, the last one is give yourself some grace on this journey. This is the first time you're doing this first thing for the first whatever. So inhale, exhale, and you got this.
Amen. And thank you so much. And thank you all for your attention and your support. And you all know that I love you so much for all of the support that you all give me. And right here on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can bring you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. I am your host. The self-talk engineer, Charles Woolfork, and our wonderful guest, Monica Soyemi. And if you like this episode, I'm sure you like this episode, so go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or a podcast platform. And if you're especially on a podcast platform, give a brother 5 stars and some feedback as well. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Peace.
Bye. Thank you.